Hiya! Welcome! So it must have been around 18 months ago where I participated in kind of like a YouTube thread, a Q&A kind of thing, where vinyl community member Richard McCook asked 10 questions relating to vinyl community video makers here on YouTube. And I think, if my memory serves, that was my first introduction, or one of the first introductions into Richard's channel. I'll leave a link for Richard and his specific video where he starts this new 10 questions part 2. It's actually 11 questions because there's a bonus one at the end. And because I enjoyed it the first time, and since then I've enjoyed Richard's content and discovered other VC channels here on YouTube as well. Some of the people I subscribe to or here on YouTube have already taken part in this 10 more questions to the VC video makers. So I thought I'd give it a go. I've got my iPad here zoomed in as much as I can. This would be a lot easier if I could read properly really at the moment, but we're going to give it a go. There's 10 questions. I'll try not to waffle on too much. But question 1 from Richard is, do you ever get disheartened when a video you think should be popular is ignored? And if yes, give an example. No, not really. It's kind of layers and layers of complications trying to answer that question, because as most of you, probably all of you will know, I'm not an exclusive vinyl community or music collecting channel. Yes, that is my biggest hobby and biggest passion, and I do a lot of music related videos, but I am what some people would determine a variety channel. I do lots of other things. Obviously, collectibles is a big aspect of my channel. In an ideal world, I'd like to see the majority of my music collecting, vinyl videos, records, mini discs, whatever, to get more views, especially considering my sub count at the moment. And I think there's a question where I can get onto that in a moment. But I always say, and I've said it before, even regarding things like Funko Pops or anything else that I may do on this channel, if there's the usual friends and people who I've got to know over time in my comments, then that's good enough for me. And if I know they've watched it and they've taken the time to leave a comment, then that's what's important to me really, not sort of, oh, I put a load of work into that should have got hundreds and hundreds of views, because my music collecting videos rarely do that. There might be one or two exceptions for whatever reason that I can't fathom. Right then, number 2, how often do you check your subscriber count? Well, I kind of glance at it most days because it's right there on the YouTube Studio app that I use on my phone to edit video titles, edit descriptions, put tags in, sort the thumbnail out, blah blah blah. But I don't really pay a lot of attention. I think if my eyesight was better, I'd be like, oh, I'm on such and such. But all I know is that at the moment I'm on like 1,700 and something, maybe closer to 1,800 than I was a few months ago. But for me, the views and the comments are more important. And yeah, I've just said, well, I don't get many views on a lot of my music stuff, but I like to see the usual faces, my friends and contacts within YouTube, you know, fellow YouTubers, to be there. So I would say, yeah, I kind of glance at it most days, but I don't really pay it a lot of attention and kind of think, oh, I've got to get to this milestone now. I suppose I did once upon a time, especially when I was wanting to push towards 1,000, but not anymore now. Number 3, how often do you ask people to hit the subscriber button? Brackets, every video, occasionally, almost never. Never. I can't stand that. I really don't like it. I think it's patronising. I think it's pushy of a video creator to do that. If you're watching me, then you know how YouTube works, and you know that the subscribe option is there. You know that it's free. You don't need me to remind you. Now, what I will do, and I do this on all my videos if I remember to, which I think I usually do 99 times out of 100, is I'll say thank you to everyone who watched the video, and I'll also say a special thanks to all my subscribers and patrons, and I think that's good enough. You're not saying, oh, make sure you subscribe, please subscribe to me, please, 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 you know. But you're thanking those who have. And obviously, if you then have watched a video of mine for the first time and decide to subscribe, then I'll be thanking you from there on in anyway. So I think that, for me, is a much better road to go down. I can't be doing with this hit the subscriber button and hit the notification bell. I'm always checking YouTube. I know when my people I sub to have got a new video out, I don't need being notified about it. So for me, that's one of YouTube's most pointless features, really. I don't see the point of it at all, but that's my opinion. Number 4, how do you feel when you lose subscribers, and what is the largest amount you have lost in one day? I don't really feel anything. I don't know what the largest subscriber amount is I've lost in a day. I remember it must have been, God, at least a couple of years ago. Might even been getting on for 3 years. There's like a weird thing where YouTube was sort of deleting a lot of bot accounts, and everyone suddenly found that the sub count had dropped. And I think mine in particular maybe lost sort of 15 to 20 in one day, but apparently they're all bot accounts anyway. But because I don't check my subscriber count, or check that, I kind of look to see where I'm at vaguely, but I don't sort of think, oh, I've risen 2 since yesterday, or oh no, I've dropped 4 since yesterday. Because I don't really pay any attention to my subscriber count, I don't really pay attention to whether I lose many or not. I suppose if I'd lost a load again one day, I would notice that, and it'd be quite jarring, but it's not something I worry about. Question 5. How do you feel when people comment on your video and they obviously haven't watched it? For example, a comment comes in for a 15-minute video 1 minute after it's been uploaded. Yeah, there is certain commenters, not so much for my music videos really, but more for collectible type videos, and I know that they've commented and they haven't finished watching it, or they must have watched it on something like 4 times speed or something, if that's possible. I think the fastest speed you can watch on YouTube's 2 times, isn't it? I'm not bothered. If they've taken the time to comment and it's counted as a view, then, fair enough. I like to know that someone's watched my video in its entirety, and usually like I say, I go back to the point I've made before. If it's friends of mine and fellow creators, or just really supportive subscribers here on YouTube, I'll know that they've watched it all, because they'll say something about a particular part of the video that might be near the end, or they'll really make an in-depth remark to me, and I always try and reply to all the comments that I get. Number 6. If you or you already have hit the 1,000 sub count, will you monetize your channel? And if you're eligible for the thanks option, will you promote it? Right then, I was monetized. I was monetized many years ago when there wasn't a 1,000 sub threshold, and I got monetized again when I hit 1,000 a couple of years ago. However, I was demonetized, and as far as I know, it's a permanent thing. I've not tried to reapply yet because I've just had too much else going on and I really don't care. I was demonetized simply because of all the copyrighted footage that I use for mostly my Top of the Pops reaction videos, which ironically are the most popular regular series of videos that I publish on this channel. You can't avoid using copyrighted music and things like that, and because I've done a lot of those now, along with other bits, and I've used music and film and TV clips in other things as well, YouTube just finally said, well, we're demonetizing you because of all the copyrighted content. You may be able to reapply in the future, but I haven't even looked into it. I never actually received any payment from YouTube. The thing is, ironically, I was really close, like within a couple of pounds, to the threshold for being paid out for the first time from YouTube monetization. So the conspiracy theorist in me I think they deliberately demonetized me at that point. Obviously I'd had all this copyrighted content on my channel for years and years, but they'd suddenly done it at this point because they didn't want to pay out my first payment that I would have received. However, what I will say about monetization, if I can spit it out, monetization, anyone can be monetized at any level here on YouTube by Patreon. And I've been using Patreon now for 3 years, I think, getting on, either just over or just under. And that's monetization, and that's not something that's done through the YouTube thing. That's something that you have to work at yourself. And anyone who comes to me and says, I'm thinking of starting Patreon to help raise extra funds for my channel or whatever it is that they may be doing, I say, good idea, but it takes work. Don't just sort of say, oh, I'm on Patreon now, throw me a few dollars a month and everything will be in the garden will be rosy. You have to promote it. You have to really sort of interact personally with all your patrons, all your supporters, and I try and do that as often as I can. I will admit that as far as Patreon exclusive things go, I've not done as much for a couple of reasons, mainly because I put out so much content. There's very rarely a day goes by where I don't put some sort of video out. And as I say, because I consider myself a variety channel, it could be anything really, from a Smule performance to a Funko Pop unboxing to some sort of music trivia thing to, as a lot of the VC watching will empathise with, looking at vinyl records and music-related purchases. So if you're thinking of doing Patreon, that's the way to get monetised if you're able, if you've got enough supporters who are willing to do that. I've been lucky with Patreon, I think, and I do try, as I say, the exclusive and perk related content has dropped off for me, but all my patrons and all my subscribers, in fact, know how hard I work on this channel, and it is thanks to the patrons that I'm able to just do so much, really, because sometimes, when I've got bills to pay, and I'm like, oh dear, I've kind of overspent on records and dollies this month. And then I realise, oh, hang on, I've got some money in PayPal from my Patreon supporters that can pay a bill. And that means the world to me, and I want my patrons to know that, and that their extra support is just absolutely, really, really appreciated by me. Anyone can do it, but don't just sort of sit on your laurels and think, oh, I've set it up now, let's just watch them come. You might be in the position where you're such a big name in the VC or whatever you do on YouTube that you could just say, hello, I'm on Patreon, here's a link, and then you'll suddenly get a load of people. Someone like me, who I started it when I was still a pretty small channel on a few hundred subscribers. I really had to kind of do a lot of Patreon giveaways and a lot of early access content and stuff, and I enjoyed all that, and I still enjoy it. And once my eyesight issues are back to normal, I want to get that Patreon exclusive stuff going again, do more exclusive videos just for these supporters, and do more giveaways and things like that. But, thank you to all the patrons, and that's monetization. And the thanks option, I don't really pay any attention to anyone else's. That's is that like super chat and stuff? Not bothered. Number 7, do you ever sub another channel just to try and get a sub back? And when you do subscribe to other channels, approximately what percentage do you hit the notification bell? 0% is what I hit the notification bell, because as I said earlier, I think that's a really annoying... Well, it'd be annoying if I hit the bell all the time. I think I accidentally hit the bell for Techmoan, who I'm a patron of myself, and because he puts out one video a week, it's not like I was bombarded. But even then, I didn't really need to be notified because I'm a patron, so I always get early access to his videos anyway, and I get notified by Patreon before they even go public on YouTube. The notification bell was even more pointless then. I don't do that with anyone. I've a sub. There's 1 or 2 VC channels who I'm subbing to now. I don't expect to sub back because I doubt they've ever heard of me, because I always consider myself on the periphery of the vinyl community because I do too much other stuff. I sometimes think about starting a second channel just for the music stuff, but I don't know, I think it'd be too much work and it'd overwhelm me. I do a lot of work, probably too much really, given my health at the moment, on my channel now. And I have got a secondary one that's been dormant now for probably 10 years that I could theoretically just sort of restart and use just for vinyl community videos, but then I'd be like, well, what do I include in this and what do I include in my main channel, this one? Like my Top of the Pops reaction series, which, as I said, they are my most popular videos that I publish, and I try and do 1 a month. Occasionally it can be 2 a month. And I always get a lot of views for me. Well, I think it's a lot of views. And a lot of good comments as well, because people just really enjoy those. But would I put those on the vinyl community channel? What about my music trivia? So I kind of like being a variety, a sort of jack of all trades, master of none person on YouTube, with Jimmy Barnes as it is now. I don't know, people can let me know in the comments if they'd like me to kind of branch off and do just music and VC stuff separately, but if I did do that, it wouldn't be yet. That's something that I'd look into when my health was better. I'd have to talk to my graphics guy and get new graphics done for a second channel, and you know who you are. It's difficult enough to get you to pull your finger out your arse to sort out anything that I want doing for this channel. But no, I appreciate you, really. I don't know, let me know in the comments about that, but for the time being, if not, you know, permanently going forward, I think things are just going to stay as they are. But yeah, there's one or two people that sub to in the VC. I've not commented on any of their videos yet. I do intend to at some point, you know, when I feel I've got something useful or something profound to say. I don't expect them to sub back, but I think, well, it'd be nice if they noticed that I was there, but I suppose if I'm not commenting, they won't necessarily notice. The people I've commented on, like in the VC, who I've started subbing to over the past couple of years or so, people like Richard McCook, Rob Walker, JT's Music Room, and Steve Carlson, of course, who I've known now for a long time, and he's been a really good friend to this channel. They've commented on my videos, and I've commented on theirs, and I know we sub to one another, and that's all great and everything. It's more of a privilege for me, because I know there's going to be a lot of content that I do that they're not going to be interested in, because they're mainly about the music, and I do a lot of other things that aren't music related. I do mostly music stuff, be it unboxings. I know Norman Masloff isn't fond of unboxings, but hopefully he might come across me one day and tolerate them. And mail openings, just showcases of music, and then I've got Top of the Pops reactions, I've got music trivia. There's a lot of music stuff, but there's also other things as well relating to collectibles. So, you know, to know that people in the VC, quite big channels in the VC, do know me, it's quite a privilege, but I do consider myself really on the periphery of all that. Right, number 8. How long do you think is an acceptable time to wait before replying to a comment? If you reply to comments. Well, yeah, I try and reply to all comments, apart from ones that I think are just like bot spam and things like that. I won't bother with those, but if you've been doing YouTube long enough, you can kind of spot those, can't you? My videos tend to go out at midday UK time. I will start to see comments trickle in, usually within the first hour of the video going up, and then I'll try and respond perhaps by early evening. I don't really think there's a set time. As long as you're responding to those who are regularly commenting and just generally watching your stuff and supporting your work, then I think as long as you get it done, you get a reply done, I think that's all that matters. There shouldn't be any set time on it. Number 9, do you like Record Store Day? And if so, after buying Record Store Day items, do you feel the need to show them immediately? Or can you wait to get home and open them before showing them? Well, I haven't participated in Record Store Day in person. I would have loved to this year, but I just can't really go out very far at the moment because of my eyes. Fingers crossed next year I might actually get to my local record store, Tallbird, and be there queuing up before it opens on Record Store Day, but you know, that's going to be, what, 10 months away. I don't want to look that far ahead in the future. So I can't really answer that question other than to say no. I get excited by the Record Store Day announcements and everything. It's nice to have a look at the list and think, oh, I want that, I want that. There wasn't much this year that I wanted. There was one thing that I got thanks to Not So Will for Mum, Jason Clow. He participated in Record Store Day, and he sent me what I wanted. I don't begrudge people who may want to show what they've got on Record Store Day as soon as possible because they're just really excited and because they know it's going to be a popular video. I mean, it might be a bit of a cynical way of doing things, but I understand that. I wouldn't do it myself if next year I'm able to participate more physically in it. I'm just got to wait till I get home. Kind of like how I did for the Love Record Store Day 2020 event that was a bit like a kind of copycat RSD. I don't know if any UK VC members remember that, but I did get a couple of pickups from Tallbird Records, and it wasn't really like a one-day event as such. I did do a video on those pretty much as soon as I returned home, and I dare say I would do again for Record Store Day itself, but I wouldn't be in any massive rush because I've always got lots of content coming out or lots of ideas about future videos anyway. Right, the final question, which isn't really the final question, it's the penultimate one, but question 10. Do you enjoy participating in and watching collaboration videos, but do you get put off watching if they go on beyond the 1 or 2 hour mark? I haven't really participated in it. I've done collaborations that are totally irrelevant to the vinyl community. I have done them, but not in what Richard's asking here relating to the VC. I suppose the closest I've come to a collaboration is the two occasions me, Not Suitable for Mum and Geeky Heathen did a three-way record trade. We did one before last Christmas, and then we did one before Easter just gone. But they're kind of like collaborations, but not. And the VC would just consider that VCLT, just us sending each other gifts and things, but it was a kind of collaboration. But I don't really watch a lot of the collaboration stuff. If there's one that I'm going to be particularly interested in, because it's a couple of people talking about an artist I'm really into, or a record label I'm into, or whatever, then I will watch it, or watch as much of it as I can do. But I think it would put me off a little bit if one was sort of up there at 2 hours something, especially if like the topics weren't particularly interesting to me, because there's a lot of VC members who are into music that, you know, for them it obviously is really entertaining and they really enjoy it and they enjoy collecting it and everything, but for me, I wouldn't have any interest in that music. And, you know, some people wouldn't have any interest in the music that I collect and that I talk about a lot on this channel. We all like different stuff, don't we? Right then, the bonus question is, do you check your previous video just to make sure you're not wearing the same shirt? No. I know I do wear the same shirt in maybe a couple of videos that I've filmed back to back, and then one's gone out one day and then the next one 24 hours later. So what? Don't matter. I seem to have the same sort of shirts in rotation that I wear, mostly Rammstein shirts anyway, so if you've seen it once, you'll have seen it no end of times. If you watch me regularly, I don't care if I've filmed 2 or 3 videos in a row, and they're all coming out in a row as well. As long as they're not sort of all coming out. I don't like people who release more than 1 video a day. I think, why don't you just space things out? Because one of these days you're going to burn out. I'm still expecting to burn out, but I do keep having these little ideas and doing these little things that maybe with my current health situation aren't too much of an effort for me. But the shirt thing, there's some people who, not so much in the VC, but other channels who I subscribe to and watch, they'll make a point of saying, oh, apologies if I'm still wearing the same shirt as I was last video, but I'm filming this right after. It's like, what are you breaking the fourth wall for? You don't have to tell people that. Like, I personally couldn't give a shit. Why are you making a point of telling me that? That's not why I'm watching, to critique the fact that you're wearing the same shirt you were last time. Anyway, there we are. So that was Richard McCook's 10 more questions for vinyl community video makers. Hope you enjoyed watching my rambling answers, and thank you to Richard. Like I say, there will be a link to his original 10 more questions video at the top of my description text box, and if you want to get involved in this and do it yourself, then all the questions are listed in Richard's description there. Special thanks go, as they always do, to my subscribers and my patrons. Please see all my usual affiliate links down in the description text box, and of course my Patreon link and Facebook group link as well. And I'm going to go now, and I do hope that you all will join me again next time for my next vinyl community video. Cheers everyone. See ya!